Feet feels good, man.
Hey everybody, hope you enjoyed the video. So if you were paying really close attention, you might have noticed that my outfit changed in some of the shots. That's because I actually did this hike twice. I did it once at the beginning of May, and then I did it again towards the end of May. The reason being, it's only about 2.5 hours away from my house, and I was trying to make use of the last few good weekends of decent weather in Texas. Here we are at the beginning of July. Temperatures are insane. At night, it still is in the mid-70s and it's still humid. However, at the end of this month, which is July now, I have an amazing trip planned. We're going to drive to Colorado and hike the Four Pass Loop in the Maroon Bells near Aspen. This is a bucket list hike for me. Lots of amazing views, lots of elevation, lots of chances for some pretty cool video footage. It's only about 26 or 27 miles, but the elevation and the amount of uphill and downhill is definitely going to make it tough. I'm going to try bringing just my phone camera this time because I've been pretty happy with the videos that I've gotten with it. I'm going to be doing this trip with my daughter and my friend Barry. So let's talk about the Goodwater Loop for a minute. It's a 27-ish mile trail that goes around Lake Georgetown, which is 30 miles north or so of Austin. It's not a very remote hike. In fact, in many parts of it, you're kind of in people's backyards. You can sometimes see houses, but despite that, it's a really pretty hike. There is definitely a lot of wildlife. We saw deer, we saw rabbits, we saw snakes and other creatures. and it's pretty quiet for the most part. You will hear some boaters on the lake, maybe partying a bit. But this hike is a perfect shakedown hike for me. Anytime I'm going to do a longer hike, it would be nice to come here and try out any new gear that I haven't tested out on the trail yet. It's also just a quick getaway that I can do in one night and be back home. I've never done this trip before this year, but I will say that the wildflowers were super beautiful. So if you're thinking about doing this loop, I think April or May could be a really great time to do it because the temperatures are still not too hot and the wildflowers are out like crazy. The condition of the trail is pretty excellent. There is a lot of dirt, but there is also a lot of rock. The rock is skull rock, so it's not loose rock. It's very, very, very sturdy rock. It's mixed with dirt. You can kind of step around it in some spots, but do be prepared for the rockiness of the trail. Some of the highlights, I think, were some of the great lake views, and also there was one really cool part where there's a waterfall. We didn't actually go down and look at the waterfall from the ground. You could tell there was a lot of day hikers there doing that. It's only about 3 miles from one of the big trailheads. But it was still really pretty. We kind of walked along the top of it. The spring was kind of flowing over the path, but there were these nice stepping stones that you could walk on to get across. You could hear people down at the bottom having a good time. I think maybe next time I will go down there and have a look for myself. We only used one of the primitive sites since both times we just did a one-nighter. We used the Walnut Creek site, which is a nice site. It's right on the lake. And there are picnic tables that you can use. So that's helpful if you're like me and you don't carry a chair. Well, there's picnic tables. Don't need one. Some logistical things to think about if you want to do this hike. The first time we went clockwise and the second time we went counterclockwise. I don't really think one is better per se. I think it just has more to do with what time of the day you're going to be hiking because there's a very long walk across the dam, which occurs either at the end of the hike or the beginning of the hike if you start at Cedar Breaks. The thing about that is that it's extremely exposed, and if it's very, very hot and sunny, it could be pretty brutal. We finished there on the clockwise hike, and it was very hot. Luckily for us, though, there was a nice breeze. On the counterclockwise hike, we started about 6 p.m., so we crossed the dam around 6 to 8 p.m., and that was not too bad. So just something to think about. As for starting at other trailheads, I don't really know. We started at Cedar Breaks both times. So anyways, thanks again for watching. Like and subscribe, comment, do all that stuff if you like the channel. Poker is not going to be happening for a while. There are games going on in Houston, but with the state of things right now in Texas, which not sure if you're paying attention, but Texas is definitely a hot spot for the coronavirus right now. Don't think that going and playing in a poker room is really a smart decision for me. Personally, it's a non-essential activity. If it was my career, then I might risk it, but I don't need to, so I'm just not going to. And backpacking to me is a hobby that I can continue to do, and it still seems pretty safe. So I hope that you'll stick around for the next video. I'm really pumped to do this video in the Rockies. I think it's going to be super beautiful, and I can't wait to show it to you.